Hey guys, it's Eric Weingano with Weingano Racing. I have to apologize first. My legs are white, so I'm probably blinding some of you. I just got back from the track. So if you watched Friday's video, which didn't look like very many people watched, which I don't blame you, I said I was going to take the S10 back to the track, and I was going to do that. Well, I was hoping to go Friday, but they predicted rain, and rain was actually happening for part of the test and tune, so I didn't bother going. But they had another event, which is today, it's Sunday, called Cars and Coffee. One, there was no coffee. At least I didn't see any. But I went to that just to see what the truck had done. So in the title of the video, I'm probably gonna name it Turbo 350 versus Powerglide, what it does. But I only got to make 2 runs. I'm gonna start off with that. And before I do any of that, and you don't have to listen to this, and I don't blame you to fast forward, but I think I need to say it. I'm a naturally angry person. It wasn't always this way, and I can't answer the reason why it is that way. I used to be like one of the guys like, huh. Now I just seem like I get angry with stuff. But I say that because when I'm about to talk about this event, you're going to think I'm angry, and truthfully I was. And I'm kind of wondering if you would have been angry as well for it's just me being me. But anyway, so... and I cannot be the only one that has this happen to. The truck's running perfectly. I go to load on the trailer and I hear a popping in the steering. And the joint had come loose. Not super loose, but it had some play. So, of course, it took a while to diagnose that. It took forever to load it on the trailer. Did it by myself. Got it back on the trailer and everything. And so, get it prepped on Saturday. So when I wake up on Sunday, because the Cars and Coffee is supposed to happen between 9:30 and 1:30. On Sunday. So everything's loaded on Saturday. All I gotta do is hook up the trailer on Sunday morning and then off I go. So I go to do that, and then the trailer brakes just decided it doesn't want to work and something's up with the wiring. Hadn't done it before, but decided to do it now. So I dick with that for a little bit and get there, get to leaving there. So I leave here about like 9:20 and I get to the track, or close to the track, at 9:40. And I know I'm screwed. Because if you've ever been at Tulsa Raceway Park, and I'm sure other ones are this way too, there's one 2-lane road that they enter in on, and they're backed way up. So I'm entering from the highway, and it's backed up all the way to the highway. So we're talking like a mile or more of cars in one direction, a mile or more of cars in the other direction. I'm like, oh my God. The worst part is it's just not moving. So at first it was kind of creeping along, which I'm like, I'm sure all drag strips are this way. You get the money, you do the sign the release form, here's your tech card, go on. But sometimes, people like, I don't know, for whatever reason, feel the need to talk to the guy in there and ask them questions when it's usually some girl or something. They're just getting your name and signing the paper and collecting your money. I don't know why you feel the need to ask them how to race the car. It should be very quick. So some of them are taking like forever. And by the way, it's only $15 to race. So yes, I shouldn't be complaining about $15 at all. And in a way, I'm not. Majority of the cars are street cars. They're true street cars, as in Camaros, Corvettes, a lot of Mustangs, some Chargers, Challengers, that sort of thing. And there's a few guys like myself that brought stuff on trailers, but not too many. Most of it is, like I said, street cars. Which, by the way, technically my truck's a street truck. It's got insurance stuff, and I do drive it on the street. Whatever. I just didn't want to drive it there. And thank God I didn't. Because I waited 25 minutes in that line just to get to pay to get into the place. So 25 minutes in line. Yeah, the truck has good enough cooling system, but for 25 minutes, probably not. I know this because there were some other cars that actually broke down waiting to get into the track from overheating. So anyway, we get into the track, and then they had tech in lane 1. So I'm like, no big deal, I'll unload everything. Well, I park, and this is a me thing. I do this just about anywhere I go. I parked way away, almost at the end of the track. So when I come back to the return road, I'm actually pretty close to my pit stall. So I'm super far away. And even though there are many cars that came before me, they're all farther up, because that's what most people do. They park close, and I hate that. So I parked way out there, no big deal. So I go tech the thing. Long line for tech, obviously, but it goes pretty smooth. Another 25 minutes lost there. So I'm like, all right, let's get the truck ready, you know, put on my, by the way, I'm all by myself. Put on my fire suit, do the air pressure, all that, and go to get in the staging lanes. And I knew when I pulled up, I'm screwed again. Because the staging lanes have 6 lanes. They're all not really full because they only got 2, but it's backed all the way around and halfway into the pits. It's 35 minutes from when I enter the staging lanes to actually get to make a pass. And so if you think about it, I've been here an hour and a half, and I'm just getting ready to waste about 11 to 10 seconds. I know everybody like, well, it's busy, you know, you got to deal with it, and I understand that. But here's the thing, I don't know if, and I love Tulsa Raceway Park, but it's like, I don't know if they just didn't plan for that many people to be there. I don't know what it was, but it's like they could, besides getting them into the place, they couldn't get them to go down the strip. Like most places and most times that they've run events, it's not this bad. Usually it's like, bam, bam, 2 off, 2 off, 2 off, 2 off. No, it's like, gone. I know they're waiting for them to clear the track. I understand that completely. We're talking after that happens, it's like a jungle match. Do you want to go? Do you want to go? Like back and forth. So they're just wasting time at the starting line. And then they make their way. So it's taking forever. Horribly forever. And this is, and so I want you to understand, an hour and a half of waiting doesn't do me good because I'm angry anyway. But as I'm getting ready to get up there, and this is where I'm kind of curious on your views. Get ready to make my first pass. I've now probably started the truck no less than 20 times, move it up in the staging lanes, which I also hate. I'm getting ready to cross the fence, which means you're now making the turn to go onto the actual drag strip. This motorcycle guy cuts in front of us. Now, here's why I say this. The motorcycle guy, Hayabusa, I saw him because Tech's in lane 1 and I'm in lane like 4. I'm seeing him get to the Tech and just puts on his helmet and drives and cuts right in front of us. We have been waiting there for like 35 to 40 minutes. So I'm already furious because I hate when people cut in line. It's like and I don't know if it's because of the teacher, my ex-teacher thing, or I just cannot stand it. Because even if the guy behind you is like, yeah, no problem, go ahead and cut me in line. Did you ask the other 25 that are behind him? Anyway, so he cuts in there. I hate going with motorcycles. And I know you're like, what do you mean? I despise it. And here's the reason why. Usually they're faster than me unless I'm in the Camaro. But if they were to have an accident and go slip around, I'm going to hit them. And there's a chance I could kill them. I don't want that on my conscience. Well, I don't think anything of it when he first cuts through because I'm like, well, he's gonna race here in front of me. No big deal. He'll probably get his own. No, he holds off to the side. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. No big deal. He still cut all these people, but whatever, you know, motorcycles right away. By the way, I don't think of this all motorcycle guys. It just, everybody, and I don't care if it's a car, there's always some selfish person. And this one just happened to be a motorcycle guy. So anyway, they're holding me up for doing a burnout. They're just waiting. So the truck's running, it's getting hotter. I'm like, I hate this. I hate when it's making me warmer, just waiting. Because I have no idea why I'm even waiting. I'm looking, there's no one on the track. They're not mopping the track. I have no idea what they're doing. So anyway, finally they're like, okay, come forward. So I go start doing my burnout. I do my burnout, and there's no one on the other lane. I look over, no one on the other lane. The motorcycle pulls in the other lane. Ugh. So if I had been smart, I would have done something differently, but I should have I just stopped and said, let him go, I'm not going. Because I'm going to get to the worst part of it. Anyway, I thought, well, I better let him leave. Because even if I leave before him, he's going to go past me. Because he's probably going to run a 9. So anyway, I let him leave. And then I leave. And I take off. And the truck, I can't. And this is one of the things that sucks about running on your own. You got no one to... I didn't have any recording. I forgot to hook up the GoPro. So that's lost. So anyway, I'm fairly certain it spun on the launch. Still, it was okay. shifted, but it did seem sluggish, and I'll get to the power glide thing in a minute. Anyway, get to the end of the track. Now he's in front of me, which means since he's in front of me, he has the right of way. So, and I'm, by the way, in the closest lane to turn. But because he's so far in front of me, I'm going to let him do whatever he's got to do. Like he's way in front of me. Well, I'm looking at him, and he's way in front of me, and a piece of his motorcycle was like shaking. This is the one time where I really wish I'd had plugged in my GoPro and had it recording, because no one would think I believe this. There's a part of it, and it must be some kind of cowling or something on the front of the bike, and it's kind of hanging there, and I see him grab it, rip it, and throws it. He throws it in my lane, right in front of me. So I'm already like furious about the whole thing anyway. Not to mention, you threw it on the track, which means the people behind us now have to wait for the safety guys to come all the way out there to get that crap. That's your crap that could have stayed on the bike. You could have just held it till you made the turn road, whatever it was. So anyway, that makes me angry. I'm like, whatever. So I get on the return road and I'm driving back. Now remember, I parked way away from everybody. I'm driving back, and it's total chaos from people that have no business at a racetrack, or at least they have business, but there's no training course that they've ever been to, and I've got a suggestion on how to fix this in a minute. So I'm driving back to my pit stall, and I see a bunch of these lowrider trucks with these donk-type wheels in a row, and I'm like, no big deal, except for they're all the way at the end, and I can't see my trailer. So as I'm pulling into my pit stall, I notice someone else is in my pit stall that I have there. So now I'm like, from the motorcycle to my pit stall, having a truck in my pit stall, I'm about to lose my mind. But I squeeze my truck in there so I can park it. The whole time I'm cussing, by the way, I think I flipped off that motorcycle driver, by the way, probably a good thing I don't have the GoPro, whenever he decided he was going to race against me, because cut everybody, gets to race in 10 minutes when everybody else got to wait 40. Anyway, here's what the truck ran. The truck ran I didn't notice the showing time, so I'll just tell you. Before it went at 1086, it now went, the first run was 1111 at 122, and before it was at 1086 at 125. There are two changes that happened on the truck. Power glide transmission from a turbo 350 to a power glide, and from the Nitto radials to a 10.5-inch Mickey Thompson slick. So, and by the way, that first run gave me the closest, it was only 60 feet of elevation difference, density altitude, between the last run with the Turbo 350 and radials versus this one. And it was slower. So if you said that the power glide would make you slower, you're correct. But I can't entirely tell if it was spinning or not. 161 60 foot time, which is not great. It kind of felt like it was spinning, and it for sure was making a move. So it was trying to go towards the center, and I needed to adjust some stuff on the rear. So I wouldn't say it was ideal, but it was for sure slower. So knowing that the line was so long, I thought I'll just take my time and I'll mess with some things. I dropped the tire pressure from 12 down to 11, get back in line to wait 40 minutes. Now again, it's a long 40-minute wait, but no motorcycles, just long wait. And again, instead of having two pairs go, this truck, a Ford Lightning truck, by the way, like a stock one. I think it ran like a 15. They let him do a single, which I'd have been like, no, we have 40 people in line, put someone else next to him, let's go. There's no point to that. What are you gonna do? I mean, if you can't do this, you win a 15 at 92. You could do that on the highway. Anyway, so I go on the next one, and now things are a little different as far as I don't have a motorcycle beside me, but now it's like they didn't have crowd control, all these cars and coffee people or something. There's a bunch of kids sitting on the wall, and I know, you old curmudgeon, the kids, sitting on the wall as I'm doing a burnout. Now, look, I don't really, I know you want to be involved in it, but get on the other side of the wall. And the only reason I mention this is because any number of things can break. Any number. Like, I'll just say the flywheel comes off or breaks. Because there are some dyno videos you can see of that chassis dyno ones where it comes off, shoots down the ground, bounces up and hits people. They're right in that path. So I hate that. Also, some people have a problem when they do burnouts, they'll go sideways. Anyway, it feels like they're crowding the truck, but whatever. I go to do it again, and I changed some things. I dropped the tire pressure down by 1 PSI, and I changed the launch RPM from 4,000 down to 3,800 and let it go. I also didn't bang the rev limiter. I did on the first one. It's not because the transmission didn't shift quick enough. It's because I didn't shift quick enough. Anyway, shifted it, and it went at 1109 at 121. So mile an hour is down, but it was 500 foot worst density altitude. The AT dropped 200, which really wasn't that great. The 60 foot did drop quite a bit. It went from a 161 to 1573, which is the fastest it's ever 60 footed. It's getting back the rest of the time, and this is where the transmission thing comes in. I pulled the data log because I did record all of it, thank God. If you look at it from the launch, if you want to see those, I'll make another video and just tag those on at the end, make it really short. But pretty much what it does is, once I let off the button at 3,800, it jumps up right about 53, and then it slowly starts climbing up to 78 when it shifted, 7,800 RPM. But at that point, it goes all the way down to 5,600 RPM, and then it starts a slow climb, and it crosses the stripe at 7,000 RPM. Compared to the Turbo 350, when it was in there, same stall converter, by the way, on foot brake, it would ramp up to about 6,300, shift at 78, drop to 63, and do that through the gears. It crossed the line about 74.95, if I remember right. So the reason I think the truck's slower, I do think the power glide's letting more power get to the wheels, but if you look at the ET, it wouldn't show that. And the reason why is because it's not in the RPM band that the Turbo 350 was. So for those who are thinking about deciding about whether you want to do a power glide versus Turbo 350, and I'm not an expert from my opinion on this deal, I would say you probably could get them to run pretty close to the same, but you're going to have to change some stuff. So in my case, which I don't know that I'm even going to bother with, I would rather go to a 456 gear because that'll get the RPMs up. The starting line ratio will be higher too to help it accelerate off. But it also really should have a different stall converter with a higher stall speed to get it where it needs to be. Am I going to do all that? No, because as you know, the new engine's being built for the truck, so I'm going to end up changing third members anyway, and then also a different torque converter, so why would I spend thousands of dollars for something I'm going to use maybe a couple more races, if that? But who knows, maybe I'll get stupid. Unless one of you guys out there in the land wants to donate I have a 4.9-inch, I need a 456 gear third member, aftermarket case preferably, and 35 spline, full spool, lightweight please, then all for it. Otherwise, no, it just is what it is. We're gonna try again on Friday or Saturday. And I think, and this one I'm gonna do for you guys, because I thought this would be cool, you guys, be interested to see. I've got the slicks on, I'm gonna bring the radials too, and I'm gonna see if I can't get it to hopefully hook up with the radials, but see how much quicker or slower just radios are versus slicks. Because it's hard to say if it was the transmission or the slicks, although I'm pretty certain it was a transmission looking at the RPMs. But at least that will tell me what it'd do as far as ET in mile an hour. Anyway, I am curious to know what your take would have been. So I am not a calm person. I envy you, the people that could be so calm about everything and never get worked up. Like, I am so jealous of you for that. I wish I could be that way. I just can't. It's like the minute I get in that truck and I'm waiting and I'm getting hotter, full suit on, I just get angrier. But anyway, thanks for watching. I don't know how long this video is because I'm recording it like this, but I'll show the time slips at the end of the video. They only got to make 2 runs for the time I was there. That's right, 2 runs. But anyway, you guys take care. I want to add one more thing on, because before I recorded this video, I forgot that I got home from the racetrack. Truck's still out there, but I was on Facebook. I don't know why, but Reaper was talking about Big Chief and stuff as far as the street outlaw thing. And probably one of the biggest things I used to get asked quite a bit, not anymore so much, was, do you know any of the street outlaws? Because if you remember when the street outlaw show started, they were like Oklahoma City. Well, they only heard of Oklahoma. And I don't blame people for not knowing, but there's Tulsa and then there's Oklahoma City. Those are the 2 major cities. We're like, I don't know, 90 miles apart or something like that. I think 100 and something. But anyway, no, I don't. I've only seen Chief one time in person, and this is a strange story. One of the guys here in Tulsa, Lucido's Machine Shop, we were dynoing their sprint car motor at Brand Racing Engines in the city. Well, that's where Chief goes, and I didn't even know that they did Chief stuff. So anyway, we're dynoing, we're paused for a second, and Chief shows up to drop off his Pontiac stuff to have him done. And I will say it was interesting because if I remember right, he just had Performer RPM, Ellerbrock Performer RPM Pontiac heads at the time. He might have some better stuff now, but I was like, wow, he's pretty quick for those heads. He didn't say anything to us, but I mean, and I would say we might have been kind of starstruck, but not really. That's about it. That's the closest I got to him besides that PRI, but I didn't go get the autographs because one, I'll lose the autographs, and two, I don't care. The coolest one I've ever met, and this was because of Tulsa Raceway Park where I race, there you have that throwdown in T-Town, which I've told you I've gone to. It's been probably 5 years ago. Could be more. Jackie, not Chief's girlfriend, but Jackie, who owned the Sonoma that Dave used to race. Well, Jackie took it over, and I have to say this is probably one of the cooler experiences. He was out there running at the throwdown. I don't remember what class he was in, but he didn't even win. But my son was with me, and he used to watch some of the Street Outlaws with me. And I was like, "Hey, buddy, you want to stand over by that car?" He goes, "Truck." He goes, "Sure." And Jackie saw him standing over there just to take a picture, and he goes, "You want to get a picture inside of it?" And he literally let him get inside of the truck. And I was like, that is so, I mean, volunteered it and everything. I mean, so if you ask me, Jackie to me was cool as shit, especially to my son. So I really appreciate when people take more care of their children. And I try to be that way if anybody ever came up to me. But I'm not that famous. But anyway, the other one was Doc. Like, people bust Doc's balls all the time, but he was the other one. He signed my son's shirt, but it wasn't like what you would think. Like, I didn't go, "Hey, could you sign the shirt?" I was like, "Hey, I just need to buy a shirt. I need one for him." And then I actually gave some more extra money. I said, "If you see some needy kid or whatever, just buy that kid's shirt." He goes, "You don't want one?" I was like, no, you lose it, or my wife will wash it with something. And it wasn't even Doc. It was one of the people doing the t-shirts. So anyway, I get this t-shirt for Bishop, and Doc comes out right over and goes, "You want me to sign that for him?" And I was like, "Sure." So when you talk about Street Outlaws, those are the only ones really, except, I forgot about that. Dave was cool as shit, not towards us, but like, that dude's like, to me, is kind of like a real racer, because I can't remember he was at the throwdown, and he had Goliath, and it was on methanol when he had the blow-through carburetor and the Pro Charger, and somebody in the big block Chevy, and someone was talking shit on him, and they got into a race, like they're gonna race for money right there, and they did. Damn, this dude's for real. This ain't scripted. And it wasn't. There were no cameras. There's people with phones. But anyway, so there you go. I just had that anyway because I was watching the replay and thought, man, I used to get asked all the time, especially from other people from other countries. They're like, "You're in Oklahoma, you know Street Outlaws?" Dude, there's like 3 million people living there, but no. So it's not like we're close. A couple of the guys in the neighborhood, well, sort of, they were in that first season when they raced the 918. That's this area code. But other than that, no. So anyway, I thought I'd share that little story with you. Thanks.